This short film has been created to give carers an overview of the HPFT carer pathway that was developed throughout 2016. The pathway was co-produced with carers, staff and carers in Hertfordshire, and many of the individual elements of the pathway have resulted from direct feedback we've received from carers over the past 2 years. As an organisation, our vision is about delivering great care and great outcomes for people together. Our mission is to do this through helping people of all ages live their lives to their full potential, supporting them to keep mentally and physically well. Through our conversations with staff, service users and carers, we have identified 5 priorities for the organisation. All of these relate to good support for carers, however one of these is particularly important when thinking about the pathway. The purpose of the carer pathway is to strengthen our relationship with carers so that they feel supported, able to carry on in their caring role should they wish to, and feel confident in the care they are providing to someone. The pathway has been developed to ensure that we should be supporting the well-being of the carer, that carers and the essential role they play are valued, and that we are building good relationships with the carers in order to maintain a safe service. Another key purpose of the carer pathway is to ensure we are embedding the triangle of care into the organisation. This means we are developing positive relationships that value the input of the service user, carer and professional. Only through doing this will we achieve the best possible outcomes for people using our services. There are 5 stages that make up the HPFT carer pathway: identify a carer, welcome a carer, support a carer, involve a carer, and help a carer through service transitions. Let's look at each of these in turn. There are a number of ways the Trust identifies carers, and we must ensure that we take reasonable steps to identify and contact a carer that we know may be supporting someone. The most common way we identify if a carer needs support is through our initial assessment of the cared for person. However, the pathway provides increased opportunities for carers to self-refer themselves for support. We receive referrals for support from a range of organisations across the counties we serve. We sometimes identify carers when the cared for person moves between HPFT services. We identify carers during emergencies, for example a Mental Health Act assessment, or when someone comes into our services via a Section 136 admission. We also have staff working in the Trust who are specialists in carer support. Once we have identified that there is a carer supporting someone, they should have a welcome to the service. We are aiming to do this by sending new carers a welcome letter that explains the carer support available from HPFT and provides a copy of our guide on common sense confidentiality for carers, friends and family. We will follow this up with a phone call from the service to ask the carer if they would like any support described in the letter, or generally whether there are any queries. However, in some of our services, such as inpatient services, this may be as simple as a direct conversation with the carer or family member, helping them to understand how the service operates. Once we have welcomed a carer, we can begin to identify what support a carer may need from us. It should be noted that if someone is already identified as a carer within the Trust, the support should also be available to them and regularly reviewed on at least an annual basis, or whenever is needed. Every carer, with some minor exceptions, should have a primary worker. This is the staff member who will be their main point of contact within the service. The primary worker can change depending on the type of support being received, but our ambition is that there's always in future a named person for someone to contact. We should provide all carers with an offer of an assessment or signpost them to another service where appropriate. HPFT has a responsibility for assessing the needs of all carers supporting someone with a mental health need. Carers supporting people with dementia or a learning disability have their needs assessed by the local authority. In the new pathway, we aim to review a carer assessment at least every 12 months. Within the pathway, we are introducing a new standard which allows a carer to have a one-to-one meeting with a relevant clinician to discuss any issues about the care being provided, where consent allows. This will allow the carer to speak freely and ask any questions to better understand how the service, care and treatment works. We will also provide support to develop a contingency plan. This is often called a backup plan and is about agreeing with you and the person you care for what support may be needed if you are unable to provide care, and who should provide this. Involving carers throughout someone's journey through services is essential not only for the carer, but to ensure safe and effective care for the person using services. When thinking specifically about carer support, the pathway identifies the following areas as important. The primary worker should agree a regular pattern of help and support for the carer. This might be agreeing a monthly phone call to check in on how the carer is doing, but should depend on the needs of the carer. For example, following a crisis referral, we may need to provide more regular support, such as weekly support. Basically, it should fit with what is convenient and required by the carer. Support could also include support from other organisations as well, for example, accessing local carer peer support networks. Provided there is agreement with the cared for person, the service should be proactive in engaging carers in care review meetings, given the wealth of information a carer will have. Where someone is using an inpatient service, carers should be provided the opportunity to be involved in ward round meetings, where a range of staff meet with a service user to discuss their ongoing treatment and care. Carers should be signposted to local community information and support. There is a lot of support available for carers across the counties HPFT serve, but this is not always joined up effectively. We can help carers to join some of this up. The final section of the pathway relates to transitions between services. This is basically about when carers and the people they support may move between HPFT services or may move out of HPFT services. Some key elements within the pathway include ensuring that before someone transitions into a new service, there is an open discussion about what this means and any key changes being made to care. This allows any questions to be answered and for the service to reassure should there be any concerns. If someone is moving into community services, we are working toward providing the same contact name for the carer for a period of time. When a transition between services happens, including when someone is moving out of the service, the carer assessment is reviewed to take into account any additional support that might be needed. After someone has moved on from services, we will continue to be a contact point for carers for up to 3 months should any further information or support be needed. However, where someone is caring for someone with a mental health need, we will remain the contact point for the carer even when someone has moved on from an HPFT service. We have produced a range of resources for carers to help navigate the support available to them, as well as understanding some of the issues that the person they care for may be dealing with. If you need any of these resources, please ask the team supporting you or contact us using the details on the final screen. It is important to note that implementation of the pathway is relatively new. We began trialling this in late 2016, which has given us an opportunity to understand what does and does not work. Throughout the remainder of 2017 and 2018, we hope to embed the pathway across our services and show a measurable improvement in the way carers are supported in HPFT. We are also working in partnership with other organisations. For example, in Hertfordshire, all other NHS providers have adopted the 5 principles of the HPFT carer pathway. We are therefore now working together to find some new ways of supporting carers across the NHS wherever they are accessing services. Should you have any queries about the pathway or your own support, you can email us using the carer team email on the screen. If you require support and are not already in contact with one of our services, please call our single point of access. Otherwise, please speak with the team supporting you or the person you support. If you are interested in getting involved in trust activities, please contact us using the details on the screen.